Hello IHPA membership, President Foley here, coming to you again with some more of my vlogs. If you notice this video and the next several, I'll be wearing the same shirts because I'm just trying to shoot a number of these videos in a row, and then over the next few days I can edit them, do that fancy stuff where all of a sudden I have pop-ups come up and things like that. So, alright, this one is on Honeybee Day. Honeybee Day, I've talked about it in some other vlogs, but it's coming up here on March 16th. That's hosted at the Iowa State Capitol building here in Des Moines, obviously. And that'll be starting at 7 a.m. in the rotunda. Just for general knowledge sake, most of the public has to enter in through certain doors that take you into the lower level of the Capitol building. You'll just go up one flight of stairs. That center section there on the next floor is known as the rotunda, and that's where we'll be at. Of course, there's going to be a full breakfast that we're doing there, and I don't mean that it's going to be pancakes, bacon, sausage, breakfast burritos, hash browns. By full breakfast, I mean that there's definitely going to be a lot of great food. Just don't consider it traditional breakfast. There's going to definitely be like breakfast burritos and a bunch of stuff to fill up on. So you will get to meet the Queen, and obviously there's a table there that talks about all of the Queen Youth Program, and I'm hoping that Connie will be there, the chair of our Queen Committee. Haven't gotten confirmation on that yet. I'll have to touch base with her, but anyhow, there'll be representatives there of the Queen program that you can talk to them all about the outreach that they do across Iowa with the different school programs and 4-H groups, and basically even like homeschool groups and stuff where the Queen comes and speaks at those events. Probably you'll go on to talk about the national level that we currently have Allison Hager, who is representing us on the national level right now. So anyhow, there's that table. There's also a youth scholarship table that'll talk about the classes and freebies and bee equipment that we offer up to any Iowa youth that are members of IHPA. The youth don't have to be, but somebody in the family needs to be a member of IHPA. And for the ages, I'm trying to remember here, I think the program is 13 to 16-year-olds. I probably should have checked on that before doing a vlog on this, but I believe it's 13 to 16-year-olds. It might be 12 to 16-year-olds, but somewhere right in that ballpark that can get, basically at this time of the year, they're getting free education right now through the class of their choosing across the state. And besides that, the IHPA provides them with a hive, all the beekeeping gear that they need, and free bees. And it's trying to bring up youth here in Iowa that know how to beekeep and then continue on as a passion. It's how to breed that next, not breed, but educate that next generation of beekeepers into going ahead and carrying on the traditions. So more on Honeybee Day. It is your opportunity to rub elbows with our legislation. Do you have to? No. But what is important is to have a mass showing of beekeepers at this, so legislators really know that it's not just a few individuals blowing smoke at them, that there's thousands of beekeepers in the state. If, say, we have an attendance of 100, 150 beekeepers that day, it is a weekday, unfortunately. If we can get like 100, 150 attendees, that speaks volumes, because legislators know it's a work day and you have 150 of your, fellow beekeepers out here, and they will then think more on bills that they're passing that could have an effect on pollinators here in the state of Iowa. And with it being Honeybee Day, there is a great display set up of all the towns and county boards that have signed their own doctrines declaring it Honeybee Day besides Governor Kim Reynolds. last year I was pretty amazed, and if you watch the vlog that was put out month and a half ago, that's just on Honeybee Day, you can see the video of all those. In fact, here, through the magic of the interwebs, there is the video there going down the table of all the tons of doctrines that were signed by the different cities and county boards there, where basically they're reiterating Governor Kim Reynolds' words and support of Honeybee Day across the state of Iowa. All right. Legislation on tap for 2023. And not to cut you off of Honeybee Day there or anything, but just moving on related material. Your IHPA board met here on February 4th. It was supposed to be January 28th, but we got snowed out. So we moved it to the February 4th there. We went over all of our initiatives here, and this is where I get some people that write into me and say, well, you do all this stuff for beginning beekeepers and hobbyists. What are you doing for the commercial guy? Well, this legislation right here, this speaks, yes, some of it is to the hobbyists, but this is definitely where we're striving to govern the laws in the state of Iowa to benefit commercial beekeepers, sideliners, and hobbyists. And this number one item on the bill, not the bill, but our initiatives for this year is the removal of sales tax for the sale of packages, queens, honeybees as livestock. This has been something that has been on the books since, we've been trying to do this for the last 7 to 10 years. And it was inches away from being approved one year, and basically it was advertised to the public that it had happened, and then it went to one more division of government to be voted, and they voted it down, which caused some problems because the public had already been told through different media sources that it had been released. Following that, we had it almost approved, or at least being really well worked on prior to COVID. But then COVID happened, and everything that's not absolutely essential for government to keep working on got dropped to the bottom of the list. So we had to start all over. This year, in talking with our legislators, can't talk today, and discussing our different initiatives, some people that were a little more in the loop on things brought forth that government already recognizes honeybees as livestock. Virtually every department of government, from the DOT to the FSA to townships, and when they're writing their own ordinances and stuff, all of these divisions of government, even divisions of government both at state and federal levels that provide insurance on livestock and crops, recognize honeybees as livestock. And the one division here in the state of Iowa that doesn't is Department of Revenue. And it's not like they literally say that honeybees aren't livestock. They just exclude them from their list of applicable items. So rather than write a whole new bill and try to change a whole bunch of legislation, we've just filed a correction on that, basically. And that should be taken care of, which, whether you are the hobbyist buying 1 or 2 packages, that saves you a few bucks. Or the commercial guy, whether you are commercially selling to sideliners and hobbyists, or whether you are buying in hundreds or even thousands of packages to recoup winter losses or grow your business. This is going to play a part in your operation there. So, one of the things that was talked at annual conference and in the comment cards was getting more state inspectors. This wouldn't be removing our main inspector by any means. Andy Joseph, trust me, your job is safe there. This is to drive home that during the busy times of year where everybody wants their fall inspection, and then all the commercial guys are trying to get their inspection paperwork for semis going out west to California and stuff. That is a super busy time of year. Any other super busy times of year, maybe spring inspections would be one, for example, that the state already has a slot for one part-time employee. But it doesn't cost the state a dime to, maybe in the corner of Iowa up here, the corner over here, the corner down there, and there, have part-time employees. Because those part-time ones only are paid for the hours that they're actually inspecting. And that would really behoove the ability of the state to service all these inspections that they need to do during those high times. So our legislative chair and his committee, Jamie Beyer, H.R. Cook, and Zach Koopman, are going to be formulating a letter and writing to Mike Naig and several other branches of government and seeing if we can't push forward some movement on getting some part-time employees for doing state inspections. Moving on from there. Regulations on herbicidal spraying of ditches. It was approached several years ago, but it was met with a lot of resistance. Right now, there seems to be these two opposing forces in our state, where the state is spending tens of thousands of dollars, if not more than that, trying to plant pollinator-friendly environments for butterflies, honeybees, and etc., where they're going down major corridors of our state and even in rural areas of the state and trying to plant, original pollinating plants that would have been found in Iowa, or sometimes they veer a little bit off of some of the original pollinators just to get ones that produce more nectar or more pollen to benefit those different insects. And essentially then, they're spending all these dollars trying to create these environments, and then we go right back over those areas with both county employees and personal owners of the farms and spray them back to straight grass. We know that we don't want invasive species, really problematic ones, but usually these prairie flowers are not as invasive as you would think. They actually require, tilling and cutting and maintenance to even get them established. So we're trying to find that happy medium between keeping invasive species down and then just obliterating all of our landscape to being nothing but grass. So we're investigating that and trying to push forward again some sort of regulations on just the uncontrolled herbicidal spraying of our ditches and grassy areas here in the state of Iowa. Another thing that's pretty exciting here. A lot of states outside of Iowa have tax credits on ag land where bees are placed, where you can actually reduce either your property taxes or other costs of your business simply by letting beekeepers place colonies of bees on your farmland. This is going, if we can get this same thing adopted that states like Wisconsin and some of our other neighbors have, this will actually be a multifaceted benefit for beekeeping here in Iowa. I mean, not only are you saving farmers some money that they otherwise would be spending, but you're getting beekeeping brought to the forefront of their thinking, because no beekeeper wants to put his hives on agricultural land that is 100% corn or soybeans. Those programs like CRP land, those are more appealing. So farmers would be thinking about that. They'd be thinking about having beneficial areas for pollinators. They would also be thinking, hey, it would be more appealing to that beekeeper if I didn't spray my ditch down to just straight grass. Or that farmer that has a giant crop of alfalfa, they would be more inclined to letting it bloom for, like, say, a week before cutting it back, because those of us that are beekeepers know that alfalfa is a fantastic food source for bees, but it does us zero good because farmers typically like to cut it right before it blooms. It's supposed to have ever so slightly better nutritional value for their livestock, and it usually gets them 3 cuttings instead of 2 cuttings. That really plays more a part in our rain for the year and stuff, but typically I've been told by farmers that if they cut it before the bloom, they can get 3 harvests out of it. So maybe this would be enough of a benefit to them that they at least let it bloom for a while before cutting it back, and that would then be appealing to have a commercial producer, sideliner, bring in their hives and place it on that ag land. So it's going to foster more cooperation between the straight crop producer and the commercial and sideliner honey producer. Last thing, this is something that every beekeeper that I have ever talked to in the state of Iowa wishes. And it is a huge uphill battle, but we are trying to push forward on getting some sort of teeth put into that sensitive crop spraying regulation out there. The regulation that states that commercial applicators are not supposed to spray within 1 mile of beehives, an apiary, on a crop in bloom between the hours of, I think it's 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. to afford the bees indirect exposure to their pesticides. It's supposed to be any chemicals that are labeled as harmful to bees. I get it. That doesn't help for tank mixes when you combine product A with product B and the chemistry of it then becomes toxic to insects. Or that doesn't help with the farmer that has gone through the certification or buys the products and sprays his own field. But this would help protect beekeepers across the state if we could just put a little teeth into this law. Because basically the law says you can't do it, but it doesn't have penalties. It doesn't have a fine. I mean, virtually every law in the state of Iowa, whether we're talking down to a tiny misdemeanor on up to a life imprisonment crime, has some kind of punishment for it. But this says you can't do it. $0 assigned to it. 0 real penalty assigned to it. So we're just asking them to put some sort of teeth into this, just to try to help those situations. Because essentially at this point, if a violation happens, it falls 100% on the plaintiff, the person that lost their honeybees, to then file a lawsuit and pay a lawyer to try to pursue the matter. And we all know that in very rare cases will somebody actually put forth that much financial risk to already pursue a financial loss in their operation. So we're trying to help you out. I've gone on here for close to 20 minutes, so I'll cut it off here. I've been told that my vlogs carry on a bit too long and stuff, and most of you don't want to sit down for a half hour to an hour and listen to a single vlog, so I'm trying to keep them broken up and a little shorter for you guys. All right, again, like always, write me at the email at the end of this video and was also at the beginning of the email if you have any questions or ideas for IHPA, all right? Thank you.